Unlike most of the game's gangs, who spend a lot of their time robbing and killing for money, the Skinner brothers don't seem to care about that at all. Everything that the Skinners do seems to be focused on killing and torturing people in terrible ways. Although they don't show up until the John Marston-led epilogue, the sheer cruelty of their actions makes them arguably the most memorably horrific gang in the game, only rivaled by the Murphy Brood and Nightfolk. The Skinner brothers are a gang of ruthless killers and thieves who move from place to hunt and kill animals and people alike. The Skinners are notorious for their cruel and sadistic acts and horrific tortures. They're known to, among many things, scalp, dismember, disembowel, roast and flay people alive, being less like an outlaw gang and more like a cult of deranged serial killers. They seem to be nomadic, and completely cut off from civilization. As such, the gang has no formal dress code, though many of them do possess large, unkempt beards and scruffy clothing, as a result of their lifestyle. The Skinner brothers can sometimes be heard muttering some odd statements if the player gets close without being detected. In these lines of dialogue, the Skinners discuss hoping that their murders impress someone, with the implication being that they're speaking of some higher power. What the Skinner brothers believe they will receive from their higher power for their killings is not made clear in Red Dead Redemption 2. They seem concerned about displeasing it, but their plans never include anything but wanton slaughter, so they clearly believe that is what the being they worship wants. Also, unlike most gangs, they have no base of operations, on account of their nomadic lifestyles, instead living in primitive camps, either their own, or one seized from their victims. According to Charles Smith, the Skinner brothers arrived in the Tall Trees, West Elizabeth around 2 years before 1907 and have been terrorizing people in the area ever since. Members of the gang can be encountered as hostile enemies in several gang hideouts, and during stranger missions and random encounters. Known members are Otis Skinner and Elias Green. Both are wanted dead or alive and, as such, they can either be killed or captured by John Marston. If the latter option is chosen, they will be publicly hanged in Blackwater. The Skinner brothers perform sadistic acts on their victims similar to that of the Murphy Brood gang, which are located in Roanoke Ridge, as well as the Nightfolk. All three gangs horrifically mutilate, torture and murder their victims and often attack and kill people seemingly just for the enjoyment of it. Many members of the Skinner brothers wear similar clothing to Dutch's gang in Red Dead Redemption. Some are also of native origin, which further adds to the similarities. Additionally, the Skinners are endemic to Tall Trees, which is where Dutch is mentioned to have been sighted and later operates his gang in. Unlike other outlaw gangs, the Skinner brothers don't have a main hideout that players can attack. Despite Charles Smith stating that the gang arrived in Tall Trees 2 years prior to 1907, they can be encountered as enemies in the region as well as the Great Plains in Red Dead Online.